Well, here's something my fiancé and I miss out on. We're going into a reaction to Sin Mere Sins by Little Chai. It's been a healthy 6 months since our last reaction, and we're excited to share this one.
It's season 6 time. Sin Mere Sins season 6 of his Everything Wrong With series.
It seems that K-Dance and Shining Armor are all in for the fun, as we're getting ready for the season 6 premiere, which will be the crystalling.
That marks the birth episode of our sweet full, flurry heart, who has been welcomed into our family. She is our beloved young one. At the same time, I have a reunion with my friend from my early years, who also hails from the Crystal Empire, Sunburst.
I know you care a lot about Sunburst, darling.
Oh man, do you remember when she came along for the Tell Your Tale episode featuring the K-Twins and their Tiny Trot reaction? It was such a fun and guileless experience with those adorable babies crusaders.
Now is the time to launch. Let's get started. We are all geared up for the exciting reactions to his journey in season 6.
It may be a crystalling for us, but he ain't King Sombra when it comes to this episode, so let's go.
I don't remember our baby being associated with a McDonald's dessert to her name.
Library. Where did they put the library?
First of all, Starlight, you should know better. It's Twilight's castle, so every room has a library.
Knowing Twilight Sparkle and all, so they totally make a central theme.
Not like a team of designers carefully planned out each room. Someone to make the multitude of decisions involved with building a castle is a little difficult to single out when the castle appears out of nowhere. Starlight averts her eyes
That
to
sound is
a
different than we usually heard.
owl. Spike brings the stool to the door to save the camera pony from having to tilt down.
Starlight, good morning, come in.
Twilight somehow doesn't stumble over all 3 greetings. To
Smartass!
the Glimmer Apocalypse.
I am the Glim Glam of Equestria.
Without using her horn.
Aura! He hasn't covered a flaw in the animation.
A lot of their customs are a bit murky.
Rarity speaks for everyone, including the writers.
Significant talks were spoken by the Reedle Pony.
Tasked with creating this impossible jug, which can't physically contain all of the images on the surface, and yet has to, because show. This jug is presented as some kind of ancient artifact, but the fact these ponies closely resemble the main 6 suggests otherwise. Either that, or this is a monumental prophecy some ponies should have noticed. Starlight didn't even get a passing grade at the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things. It was a sin that Starlight thought they were friends to begin with, considering he has no interest in sharing this moment with her. Now it's an even bigger sin because we see him bump into her as if she wasn't there at all.
Laying on a little thick there, aren't we, pal?
Ponyville suggests the school and Fluttershy's cottage are a stone's throw apart.
Well, dang.
It seems to be improving her vocabulary.
Twilight, Piggy's born from
together,
me.
loaded all the way to the frozen north. But only now does Rainbow notice this very conspicuous object Applejack has.
Applejack, what is that?
The crystal heart and its purpose is brought up for no reason other than foreshadowing. The main 6 threateningly surrounds Shining Armor because it makes for good scene blocking when your show has this many main characters.
You two probably need all kinds of help.
Cadence especially could benefit from therapy. She's always had a case of imposter syndrome.
Changelings are nothing new to me,
Twilight
okay?
tries to get out of the friendship lesson. Twilight not taking a hint to the episode.
Is something wrong? Let's go see this amazing baby pony.
Reminder that we're more than halfway through the episode and haven't even been introduced to Princess Skyla yet.
Wrong,
Starlight
baby.
thinks she's so clever for convincing Spike to waste time telling stories. But then when he's done, he immediately shuts her down.
Aw, come on. I want to hear about the games too.
I know you're nervous about seeing Sunburst.
So did Starlight manipulate Spike into killing time, or did Spike manipulate Starlight into letting him brag about himself?
It's not that I compelled an old town.
Storyboard
Oh,
is
wait.
visible in the sky.
Even you see that error. Funny enough, that
This
face
sounds
says it
bad,
all.
man. It's hard to tell if this is supposed to be funny because it's not what happened, or if the show is trying to gaslight us into thinking Spike did something useful.
Oh, cut the
Starlight
fucking
barges in to
petulant
see
there.
the baby
He saved the
and says
place.
Hello to her friend, who happens to be the mother. This abomination of toyetic inconvenience. The wings, the giant head, the dangerously large horn, none of it makes mathematical sense back in this region.
But I thought alicorn wings had to be earned by accomplishing some great princess-worthy deed.
Quiet, Rarity. Cadence is right here in the room, you know. Don't make the obligatory pink princess feel bad about her purpose as a toy.
Oh,
The birth
Did I say that out loud?
Something Equestria has never seen.
The desperate cry of bronies as various headcanons are confirmed or obliterated.
Radar cheddar from Silisu Woods. Pegasus,
What a novel concept.
so she can be a super strong flyer and have crazy baby magic.
Pinkie Pie sounds way too excited and not nearly horrified enough about that considering their
Honestly, it has
experience.
become apparent that I had a bit of an obsession with my babies, which are a unicorn and a Pegasus, respectively.
You're already a complete failure.
I really should have thought before
Record.
speaking. This isn't considered date. My pony brain is just not cutting it here.
always the insightful one, Celestia.
The crowds have already started to gather.
This is treated as a sign that the crystalling is about to begin, but the crowd probably has more to do with the destruction caused by a giant laser.
I can't imagine canceling such a beautiful and important ceremony over something so potentially adorable.
Rarity thinks this potential for death and destruction is simply adorable, darling.
Was that a
Considering
direct
how much
tone?
this event has been hyped up, the claim that the entire Empire will be there, and the risk they are willing to take to continue it, there are barely any ponies in the audience. Twilight struggled less with the laser battle with Starlight than she is now with a baby.
Starlight's right. Surely need to work on her aim. No offense,
She has no
Twilight.
reason to ask such a thing, except to make this awkward scene happen. Season 1 premiere, Nightmare Moon returns and we're introduced to the main six. Season 2, Discord makes Equestria the Chaos Capital. Season 3, King Sombra attempts to enslave the Empire again. Season 4, introduced to the backbone of the show, the Tree of Harmony. Season 5, Starlight Glimmer's cult is discovered and she eventually joins the cast. Season 6, a baby cries and breaks stuff.
Wow, talk about a treasure trove of dastardly deeds.
Damage, nothing else. It's as if there's some magical connection or antithetical element targeting it specifically. Or maybe it was just that the episode was about to end and something bad needed to happen quickly.
Without the heart, the Crystal Empire is about to be buried under a mountain of ice and snow.
Well, we better hurry up and relocate these ponies to some place that's actually sensible to inhabit then.
Where?
Music
To
in
a
this
tropical
episode is
place?
trying way too hard to calm the children after a dramatic cliffhanger. To be continued.
Seriously?
Because why wrestle with a terrible equation in silence when you can have silly credits music as the end of the first part?
Well, isn't that just the cherry on top of this crisis?
Oh, these are just the A's. After this, I move on to the B's.
Does this bring to mind any images for you?
As in Flutterbee. Is that what you mean by moving to the bees? Maya the bee.
Sunburst! Haven't you looked outside?
We'll be outside.
Previously on My Little Pony, Frostbite Bitter.
Is he playfully misnaming me now? Okay.
This episode is devoted to more exposition because the plot is just that complicated. Except that it's really not.
What about when King Sombra ruled the Crystal Empire and the Crystal Heart was missing? The city wasn't covered in snow then.
You don't know that. That was over 1,000 years ago. It's likely Sombra had his own solution for keeping the cold at bay while the heart was hidden. We even see his fires keeping the Empire warm in Season 3's flashback. Brush up on your My Little Pony lore, Applejack.
Sorry. Just thinking about the past for when he tried to rule over just discombobulated
Would be
me.
the one to imply puppy punching. Celestia's nostrils disappear.
Like poof.
An embarrassing moment from their past, even something they regret.
This is horrible advice. Pro tip, if meeting an old friend is awkward, try to make it even more awkward to increase the odds of never seeing them again.
And there's your pro tip of the day, kids.
Restore the Crystal Heart.
But it isn't something that either of us know.
No pony knows this crucial spell in a country whose survival hangs by a thread where the lack of this spell can mean certain death.
It's not every day that an episode would mention about death in a show for little girls.
Storm clouds, magic lasers, and world-famous alicorn princesses go unnoticed. It's great to see the princesses do something, but it's a shame their heroic moment of action is fighting and subsequently being defeated by clouds.
Story and Zoe Clouds.
Send Celestia and Luna to fight the clouds to begin with. If only we had a magic force field to buy us more time. It's not like we've seen something like that on more than one occasion before.
And try not to mention the Crystal Heart. We don't want to start a panic.
Can't let ponies know about their imminent demise to give them a chance to be with family for their final moments. That would be absurd. Pinkie Pie throws a baby.
Pinky, that's child abuse.
Where'd she go? To find Princess McFurry Fart, you must check the shelves of your local Toys R Us.
In Canada, except for the fact that there's a plethora of G5 toys. Mostly. Anyway.
Confidently.
I wouldn't be surprised if Twilight decides to give up on me entirely.
Twilight extended friendship towards Starlight when she was a dictator whose actions were going to destroy the world. Starlight thinking so little of Twilight as to assume she would give up on that friendship because Starlight didn't make friends with some pony is a terrible way to repay the favor.
I camped out all night for this spot. I'm not about to just give it up.
Firstly, that was a very poor decision considering how sparse this crowd is. Secondly, no, you did not camp out here all night for this spot. The crowd didn't exist a little while ago.
And just like that, her pony's nose decided to take a little growth spurt, all thanks to a tiny little lie.
I'm 100% sure the crystalling isn't happening.
Spoilers, Dash never was very good with math.
See, the math for smart ponies like Twilight Dashy.
No crystalling, huh? Then why are they starting a fireworks show?
Characters act completely brain dead for no reason other than to build dramatic tension. Probably the greatest sin in all of fiction.
Shining armor? I thought you were taking care of the baby.
This line sounds out of place until you realize her emphasis was supposed to be on taking care of the baby and not the word you. It's almost like these ponies are voiced by actors in a studio lacking context of the world they're in or something.
Crap, zero submersion from me.
Would the net have somehow prevented teleportation anyway?
Without this, I don't know what we'd do.
Twilight, you should know better than to say that kind of thing.
You really shouldn't be saying things like that, Twilight. It's a dangerous gamble.
Starlight's around this crucial life or death MacGuffin.
Yet I really think a magical force field would be the way to go to keep things like that at bay. Just my friendly advice, Twilight.
Yes, I'm sure if you both focus hard enough, Twilight will remember what she just read. Thanks for being so helpful, Cadence.
Sunburst! Haven't you looked outside?
He did actually. Earlier, as you left.
Oh, wasn't paying attention to that perhaps?
Snow before.
Sunburst seemed to recognize the threat as soon as he noticed the snow. At what point in history would the Crystal Empire ever have a snowstorm except for when all of their lives were at stake?
We've seen snow before.
Yet, that would be an incredibly grim turn of events if it ever came to pass. It sends shivers down my body.
As an independent state country, the city of Crystal Townsville.
I thought you were an important wizard.
Starlight says important wizard multiple times as if that's the actual title.
Important wizard? You're an important wizard. Important wizard. Important wizard.
Sunburst, the important wizard.
Travel through time to get back at them, but they beat you again.
Can we sin every time a character obnoxiously dumps way too much exposition in the laziest way possible? Oh wait, I make the rules here. 1 for Pinky, and 2 for Starlight.
By Twilight in her heart. I forgot to tell you, they're evacuating the city.
Kind of a strange thing to forget, but we'll let that slide.
Ha!
Don't let slide.
Humoringly.
In fact, no one's going around knocking on doors to warn ponies such as Sunburst. Looks like only this meager group of Crystaling fans are permitted to board the train, and every pony at home gonna die. We don't want to alarm Twilight, but there's a tiny red bug on the camera lens.
Help! There's a ladybug on my eye. Get it off.
What do we have to lose?
Only the evacuation of dozens of ponies patiently waiting on the other side of the curtain. Seriously, they've been out there a while. Anybody want to check to see if they left by now? Did they rehearse this off screen or just get lucky by assuming Sunburst was familiar with the ceremony?
Citizens, may I present the newest member of the Crystal Empire?
Citizens who were in a panic and evacuating mortal danger mere moments ago. We're doing this now instead. Now cheer and spread the joy you're feeling despite the expectation of
Yes,
death.
praise the demon baby of ours, citizens of the Crystal Empire.
The crystal is a nice touch, but any other unicorn should have helped him. Does anyone else have a sudden urge to go buy some toys?
Are
They
you
all become
kidding?
crystal
You bet your ass I want to buy some crystal pony toys.
Replaced with an entirely different Spike.
Best crystalline ever.
We almost lost our homes at best and lost our lives at worst. Let's do it again. Animation error. These black pixels floating across the screen is clearly a mistake and not foreshadowing of any kind.
That is not an animation error, silly. That's thorax.
Seen snow before.
I swear it's not what you're imagining. Can you please stop looking at me so serially?
Kidding. But anyways, that was everything wrong with the crystalling. I was absolutely enchanted by that experience. One of the highlights for me was when you proposed we shift to the B section. It was such a delightful twist when Fluttershy appeared as a bee, almost as if you took that letter's meaning to heart in the most literal sense. It really made me laugh. I couldn't help but chuckle at that unexpected moment. It reminded me of how creative interpretations can lead to such amusing surprises. The way you brought Fluttershy into the scene was truly inspired, and it added a whimsical touch that I thoroughly enjoyed. And speaking of bees, it brings to mind Eric Toke's favorite animated series from Germany, in which, fun fact, Henry Littman did voice of that particular bee, Maya the bee.
Well, I can see that this joke really was me in a funny way.
I also had a blast hanging out with you ponies. It's always a joy to check out his channel from time to time.